Welcome back to Bay Sunday. Well, he traveled as a Reuters photographer to Nicaragua in the 1980s during the height of the Iran-Contra affair. He won awards for the images that he captured there and in the days when Vietnam was first opening its doors to the West in the 90s. Lou Dematteis is now delving into the world of documentaries, and he joins us here this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, let's first talk about your documentary. It's called Crimebuster, A Son's Search for His Father. And you start this journey in Italy, right?
That's correct, yes. My background is Italian-American, and so the story, part of the theme of the story is Italian immigration to the United States.
And your family immigrated here, and your father became the youngest attorney ever in California at the age of, what, 20, right?
That's correct. He passed the bar exam at 20 years old, but he was too young to practice. He had to wait till he turned 21.
So the story with your dad is pretty amazing, because if any of you live in San Mateo, it's a great area to live in. But in the 1940s, this area was really corrupt, right?
Yes, it was.
Tell me a little bit about what it was like in the 40s.
Well, there was a lot of gambling. They actually had casinos operating, illegal casinos operating in the county. There was prostitution, and there was a lot of corruption in the political system, because a number of the political leaders were on the take, including the sheriff at the time was on the take.
And so your dad was one of the people who really tried to clean up the area. So why don't we take a look at your documentary as we're talking about it.
My father worked for many years as a deputy in the district attorney's office. In 1949, the Board of Supervisors appointed him district attorney. At home, he appeared to live the life of a typical suburban husband and father, but at work, he was facing quite a different situation.
So in this journey, as you discover who your father was, what surprised you when you were in going along doing this?
Well, I think one of the questions I had, because I really didn't know much of the story of him as a district attorney, because I was too young. I had been born, but I was too young to remember. One question I had, was the family in danger? Was he in danger, first of all, because of his work? And then was the family in danger? And that was a question that led me through the documentary, and I didn't find out the answer until a trip to Italy, when I spoke to one of my cousins who had witnessed when my dad was talking about the dangers that he faced when he was doing this kind of work.
Now, you started this journey because of what your father asked you to do. You had been estranged for a number of years because of your differing opinions on the Vietnam War, correct?
Vietnam War and my choice of my profession as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He didn't like the photographer thing.
He didn't. He wanted me to be an attorney.
Of course he did. It's like my dad's a doctor. He wanted me to be a doctor, you know. It happens to everyone.
That's right.
So, you know, and in doing that, he asked you to do one thing specifically, right?
Yes, he did. Shortly before he passed away, he had been working with the San Mateo County Historical Museum to put an immigrants gallery in the museum. They needed to raise the money to do that. He wasn't able to finish that work, and so he asked me to do it for him, complete it for him.
Okay, well, I think that maybe you have a unique perspective, too, in this documentary because of your background as a photojournalist. And we have some photos that we wanted to share with you guys, starting in Nicaragua. Why don't you tell us a little bit of what we're seeing here? I know this is you.
This is me getting off a helicopter, actually, in the Nicaraguan jungle when we went to pick up Eugene Hasenfuss, who had been shot down while he was supplying the Contra rebels.
As you were taking all these different photos, were you even aware that, you know, how dangerous the situation was? I mean,
yes, I was quite aware.
Because I feel like sometimes you get involved and think nothing's going to happen to me. I know that, you know, sometimes you go to these areas.
Well, you have to be careful. You don't want to take any inordinate risks, but you have to accept the fact that it is dangerous. Otherwise, you're not able really to do the job if you're not in a calm place to know exactly what's happening.
Some of these images are very chilling. I mean, a lot of the coffin shots even.
Yes, I covered a lot of funerals, a lot of dead bodies. War is horrible.
And this was mostly during the 80s. This one was very disturbing to me because it's a baby.
Yes, it's her 6-month-old baby brother that had been killed in a Contra attack. And just the look on her face, the question of what is, you know, she thinks he's asleep, but he's not.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
You also spent some time, I believe it was in the 90s, in Vietnam, correct?
That's correct. I had a big project in the 1990s to photograph in Vietnam, and I did a book, actually, of that work.
Some amazing photos here in the juxtaposition of the Vietnamese with some of the pop culture of America there.
That's right.
Did you, there must have been such an interesting time to be there, I mean, post-war?
It was very interesting, as when the society was just opening up, and I was invited as a photographer, and I was given a lot of access to be able to photograph. It was really a wonderful experience.
Yeah, some amazing experiences that you seem to have had. You've also had this documentary coming out that we just talked about, and it's called Crimebuster, A Son's Search for His Father. You can see it on Friday, June 24th at 7:30. It's going to be in North Beach, right?
Yes, at the San Francisco Italian Athletic Club in North Beach.
Okay, we just want to say thank you for being here with us today. If you want more information, you can go to loudematteis.com and you can find out a lot more about his project there. We're going to be right back with much more here on Bay Sunday.